We have much to give thanks for this morning, and so I want to invite our Council President Buzz Busboom to do just that. We are committed to giving thanks every quarter with an update, and it's maybe my favorite part of our all-in initiative to be in it together is to hear these words of thanksgiving as we hear this update this morning. Thank you, Buzz.
Thank you, Pastor Jerry, and good morning. This is your quarterly update, but we're going to do it a little differently today. We're also going to combine it with our coffee with the council. And the reason is there's so much to go over that we can't take up the service time to do that. So we're going to invite you to come out and ask questions in detail and talk about all the specifics. I do want to just touch on the 3 task forces that are implementing much of the All-In initiative. So if we could go to the first slide, please. The outreach continues to be just great. The Christmas Eve worship exceeded all the recent worships in terms of attendance and giving. It was a great success. I had a guest here. They were astounded by the generosity of this congregation. And if you don't understand the scope of what happens here at Faith Lutheran Church, I was talking to this person. I said, well, I think tonight, Christmas Eve only, we'll probably bring in $100,000. And she said, my church operates the whole year on $100,000. So that is the scope of what you folks are doing, and I really appreciate your involvement in the All-In commitment. Fall Festival was great. We had well over 1,000 people, and it was consistent over 2 or 3 hours. You look out any of that time, and there were 1,000 people in the parking lot, coming and going. And of course, I always like to highlight the annual Veterans recognition, which is something this congregation does so well. If I could have the engagement slide, please. One thing I've really been encouraged by is the new form of the kids' word time, and I really, really appreciate the young folks getting up here and offering that grace to hear the word, just a few short minutes in front of us here, and they do so well, and we should encourage them. So it's just great to see kids in the service. That's the way I look at it. Adult education, I know last week I came a little late to church. That's a different story I won't bore you with, but I went down to Pastor Mark's class and sat down and saw some familiar faces and saw some other folks and looked around, and standing room only. The room was totally full. And God bless Pastor Mark for bringing such a wonderful educational viewpoint to our studies of the Bible. He just does a wonderful job. And the attendance shows it. People really appreciate it. Fellowship, the same thing. The Centrum is truly buzzing in between services, and that's just a great feeling to be out there. If I could have the facility slide now, please. Way too much to cover here. These folks have been just busy. Please ask me about the details when we're out between services, because I can give you 10 minutes on the facilities committee alone. So we did over the holiday season, because it was due on January the 3rd, typical government stuff, we did submit for a $200,000 grant. And if we receive that grant, which I think we have a good chance of it, we'll be able to completely redo this church in terms of security alarms, cameras, all the security requirements we've had for years, but never got around to fixing. You can see the other things as you go through the railings at in the choir. The projection was finished during this quarter. And the task force also met with you folks and got new ideas for this year. And they'll be following through on that. Just a very quick word on stewardship. And again, please see me after the service to get the details, because it's all good news. It's all good news. I looked in my liturgical calendar this morning, and it said Groundhog Day. You remember the movie? The stupid movie that the guy keeps waking up and it's over and over. All I can say is, for the stewardship report, I'll just say it's Groundhog Day, and we're still doing great. You're still doing great, I should say. You can highlight any of it. I got the details outside, but we did do the $100,000 debt reduction. Anytime you're paying principal instead of interest, you're doing a good thing. And I would also mention that transition we were concerned about between the yellow envelopes and the mission, well, they're the numbers. You know, we had a good, healthy increase between what we were able to do before and what we are doing now, and praise the Lord. Thank you for your time.